Thank you, really, Mr. Toastmaster. I appreciate that. Toastmasters and guests, anyone who knows me, you know that I am incredibly pro-science. And almost to a fault, I am pro-vaccine. And that's why I'm at a loss to understand why vaccine rates across the developed world are dropping continually. This past year, in 2017, we've had outbreaks of measles in Canada, the United States, Australia, the UK, and throughout the European Union, especially in Italy and Romania, where 17 unvaccinated children died from measles. Died from measles. How can people be dying in this day and age from a vaccine-preventable disease like measles? Well, there are two reasons for that, actually. One of them is because of measles, and the other is because of the anti-vaccine movement. So what's the deal with measles, right? Well, first of all, measles is extremely contagious, and a lot of people don't realize just how contagious it is. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would play with dominoes and you would line them up on the floor, and one domino would knock down 2, and those 2 would knock down 4, and so on and so on. And each one domino would knock down 2 more. Well, you would call that the basic reproduction rate of 2. And that means that after 5 iterations, it is now knocking down 32 dominoes over here, and a total of 63 dominoes would have been involved in that fall. Well, the basic reproduction rate for measles is not 2, it's about 16. So the first one is 16, 256, 4,096. By the time that you get to the 5th iteration, just over 1,118,000 dominoes would have fallen. But they're not dominoes. They're people who have come down with measles. So that's the first reason for measles, because it is so contagious. The next reason measles is because, well, a lot of people downplay the severity of measles. And you know what? Chances are, if any of you here ever got measles, chances are you would be fine. The chances of dying from measles are only 1 in every 500. But remember those 5 iterations I was talking about before? 1,118,000 people? That means that over 2,200 of them in here are dead. In 1980, prior to widespread vaccinations, there were 2.6 million deaths per year from measles. Now, we've done a great job with vaccination. We have cut that by 95%, down to 134,000 deaths per year. That's still 134,000 vaccine-preventable deaths. And the third reason for measles is thanks to this guy by the name of Dr. Andrew Wakefield. In 1998, Dr. Wakefield came out with a study that showed that there was a link between the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine and autism. And this caused a lot of hubbub, a lot of controversy in the scientific community. But you know where it really got attention? With the parents of autistic children. These people looked at that study and they took Dr. Wakefield and they hoisted him up on their shoulders. And they marched up to Big Pharma, and they brandished their swords at them and they said, "You're the reason. It's your fault that my kid has autism. He proved it to us." But the problem was that Wakefield didn't actually prove anything. I would have liked to say that his study was just wrong, but it wasn't wrong. He lied. He cheated. He was brought to court for it, and if lying to a scientific journal had been a crime, he would be in prison right now. But unfortunately, it's not considered a crime. So all that happened was he lost his license to practice medicine. But these parents of autistic children, they still kept him up here. And to this very day, he is the champion of the anti-vax movement. So, why can't we just ignore the anti-vaxxers? Why can't we just be ambivalent towards them and ignore that they even exist? I mentioned how measles goes to 16 people, right? The basic reproduction number of 16. In order to establish herd immunity in our community, we need 95% of the community vaccinated for measles. and not everyone can get the vaccine. That's it, simply enough. Not everyone can get it. Young children can't get it, the elderly can't get it, and the sick, people with cancer, for example, don't have protection from this disease. So we need to protect them. And these anti-vaxxers, while they're choosing not to take the vaccine, are preventing us from getting to that 95%. The other reason is that we are just waiting for the next big pandemic. I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, a pandemic, he's talking about Zika virus or Ebola or something like that, right? No, those are nothing. The last pandemic that we faced was the Spanish flu back in 1918, and that killed between 30 and 50 million people across the face of the earth, 3 to 5% of the population of the planet. The next time that a pandemic hits with international air travel, that number is going to be huge. And so long as we are letting the anti-vaxxers have their voice and give credibility to their movement, it's going to slow down the entire process. Society won't go ahead and accept these new vaccines when they come available. So what can we do? Well, first and foremost, have a conversation with people about vaccines. And the moment that you run into someone who says, well, in my opinion, vaccines are, let's stop them right there. And yet let them know, this isn't religion or politics or who's going to win the hockey game where opinion counts. Opinion doesn't matter here. This is science. This is facts. And you have to rely on empirical evidence. That's the only way that you can really do this. You need to tell them, hey, you know what? I'm not an expert. Well, let's go check with the experts. And who are the experts? First of all, the experts are not celebrities, okay? I don't care who the celebrity is. Do not take their advice on vaccines, period. Do not take advice from any website with the name info, natural, green, alternative, anything like that in there. Go to your doctor and discuss your vaccine needs with your doctor. Explain to them your lifestyle, what you do, where you want to go, how you want to travel, and get your vaccine advice from your doctor for you and for your family. Because we can't afford to let the anti-vaxxers win. There it goes.